Hi friends, Miss Silva here. I'm gonna take you through this video to go over these 4 different stitches that you should know for our 8-bit stitching project. All right, so first of all, you're going to need your 8-bit stitching mini pack. This was in our materials pack earlier this school year. If you need another one, you gotta let me know ASAP. All right, in your materials pack, you should have some test burlap. You should have some long, skinny burlap. You should have kind of a nicer piece of rectangle. You'll also have some yarn and a needle, okay? To do our sampler today, you're gonna need your needle. You're gonna need about an arm's length of yarn, and you're gonna need one of your pieces of test burlap, okay? So we are going to start by threading our needle. So I cut off an arm's length of yarn. Here's what you'll do. You're gonna take the end of the yarn and you're gonna thread it through this needle. You can kind of like jam it through and then pull it. Okay, so one more time. If it's kind of squishy at the end or if it's squishing through, you can use your fingers and just pull it through. We're gonna have about a 4-inch tail, okay? So it's about 4 inches and I'm just gonna let it overlap like this. When I do my stitching, I'm gonna hold my needle like this, and so it's kind of gonna help me keep from pulling my yarn away. I'm gonna take my test burlap, and the first stitch we're gonna do is called a running stitch. So we're gonna start from the back side, go up, pull your yarn. You don't wanna pull it too tight because you'll pull it right out. I'm just gonna use my finger to hold it, okay? And then I'm gonna go about 2 squares over, and I'm gonna go back down. So from the front to the back. And again, you don't want to pull it super hard. Just like that. If I pull it super hard, right, you can't really see the stitch anymore. So I'm going to make sure I'm not pulling too hard. Okay. Then I'm going to put my needle back through one little square away. This burlap is pretty open weave, right? It's not very tightly woven. There's a lot of space in between those boxes. It's really going to help us. Okay, so I came out through the next one. I'm just going to go back down. And I'm making sure that I held it on the back side, so I'm not pulling the yarn all the way through. And we're going to do this all the way across. All right, now that my running stitch is complete, I'm going to check the back side. Looks pretty much the same. Front side, looking good. The next stitch we're going to do is a diagonal running stitch. So you don't have to cut your yarn if you don't want to. If you want to, you can just cut it on the back side and start again. I'm just going to use the same piece of yarn and not cut it. So I'm going to go up, right? So I'm starting from the back. I'm going to start from the back. Great. And instead of picking the box next over this way or straight down, I'm going to pick a box that is diagonally down from the one I just came out of. So this one is diagonally down. It's right diagonally next to where my stitch just came up from the back. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna come up through the next box diagonally down. Same thing. I'm not pulling too hard. I want to make sure I can see my stitches. This is the next box straight down. That's the next box straight across. We want to go diagonal. All right. I have 4 really nice diagonal stitches. The next stitch we're going to do is called cross stitch. So I'm actually going to cut my yarn just on the back side. And there, that's it. And so now I'm going to start right back on the front, my cross stitch. Okay, cross stitch means that we are going to make little X's as our stitches. So same thing as before, right? Coming up through the back side, I'm just going to hold it so I don't pull it out all the way. And I'm going to go diagonal to the next box down, just like I did for my diagonal running stitch. Next box down. So first I go down, great. Then I'm going to go to the box right above it. So instead of picking this diagonally situated box, just like we were doing for our running stitch, I'm going to pick the box right above where I just went in. Okay. Make sure that you're not pulling too hard, right? If I pull super hard, I'm just going to pull this burlap right apart because it's so loosey-goosey, okay? So now it looks like I have kind of like an N shape. That's cool. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go diagonally down from where I just came out. Okay. And I have a little X. I'll do it again. So I'm going to go right below it. Okay. Don't pull too hard. I'm going to go diagonally down. I'm going to pull the needle up right above where I just went down, so the next box above it, straight above, not diagonally above, but straight above. Okay, I'm going to pull, not too tight, and back down diagonal. Cool. Those are two really great looking X's. I'll do one more. So I'm going to start right below. Cross stitch is a great way to fill space and also make a nice texture. Cool. I have 3 really good looking cross stitches there. I'm going to trim this. And our 4th and final stitch is called a chain stitch. So I'm going to start right here, same as before. I'm going to come up through the back. Cool. I'm going to hold it with my hand so I don't yank it out all the way. And I'm going to go 2 boxes over. 1, 2. Back down in. Great. Then I'm going to go 2 boxes over again to push my needle through the back side. Okay, so here's 1, here's 2, right? Awesome. So now it looks like you have a really long running stitch, right? Really long running stitch. Instead of going forward, we're actually going to go backwards, and we're going to put our needle in through the same box that we put it in the first time to go to the back side. So I'm going to go in the same box from before. And now I have 2 stitches right next to each other with no space in between. It makes a really nice solid line, okay? Now, here's the part that's going to get a little wild. Instead of going out here, I'm going to pick a box 2 away. So 1, 2, this is where I'm going to bring my needle up. Great, looks like I have a super long running stitch now, and I'm going to go back in the one I just came from. So we're going to do it again. I'm going to go forwards, 1, 2, and then backwards 2. So again, forwards 2, 1, 2, and then backwards 2. Okay, again, forwards 2, here's 1, here's 2, right, coming up through the back and entering back in the same one that we went in. Do one more. 1, 2, so I'm going to go forwards 2, and now backwards 2 through the same box. All right, that is a really nice looking chain stitch. I have no spaces in between. It's a great way to make a solid line. Here's what it looks like from the back. You can see it kind of looks like a chain. Let's trim it. And we're done. So here's your sampler. You should have 4 different stitches on it. 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of stitches. Make sure that you snap a picture and upload it to Neil. Thanks so much for paying attention. I will see you in class.